Bao Island Storyteller, Journey to the West. Hey kids, welcome to Bao Island. On Bao Island, every story has a taste. Today's taste is cold fizzy water and honey golden cake. This episode, we're in Sueo. Today's story, the Heart Sutra.
Welcome back to the Bao Island bus. I'm your captain. We've reached the southern end of Yilan County, Sueo. This is where the mountains come all the way down to the sea and the Yilan Plain ends. South of here, the road begins to wind through the famous Suwa Highway, cliffs dropping straight into the Pacific for 60 kilometers. One of the most dramatic coastal roads in the world.
We can see the start of the cliffs from here. They're enormous.
Sueo is a fishing and industrial port town not typically on the tourist trail. But it has one thing that draws people from all over Taiwan and the world.
The cold spring. Tell me about the cold spring.
Sueo Cold Spring is a naturally carbonated cold spring. The water comes out of the ground at about 22 degrees Celsius, year-round, and it's naturally effervescent. Like very lightly sparkling water bubbling up through the rock. There are only two such springs in the world accessible to visitors, one in France and this one.
Amazed, one of two in the world. And it's here.
You can soak in it. The water is cool, perfect on a hot day, and slightly fizzy. It tingles on your skin.
I'm going in after we eat.
There's something here, honey warm and golden, rising quietly from a kitchen at the edge of the Pacific cliffs, gentle as the cold spring water is fizzy, soft as this coastline is dramatic.
Excited, what is it? Tell me, tell me.
Take a guess.
Mouth full, let me take a bite first. Excitedly, I found the Sueo honey cake. This is a local specialty, and it's not just any honey cake. Sueo honey cake uses honey from the flowering fields around this area. Let me show you.
What does it look like?
It's a golden sponge cake, baked in a rectangle, quite tall and fluffy. The honey is baked right into the batter, so the sweetness is all the way through, not just on top. The texture is incredibly soft. Like pressing your finger into a cloud. When you bite it, wait, no crunch. It's the most gentle bite. Soft, sweet, honey warm all the way through. And there's a faint golden caramelization on the top crust.
Sueo is also a port town. The fishing industry here is significant, and there are good fresh seafood places near the harbor.
We're getting seafood later. But the honey cake first. Eating, This is a morning food. A calm food. After all the drama of the last few chapters, fire, bears, pig monsters, this is exactly what we need.
Speaking of which, we have some administrative matters to settle in the story before the team can move forward.
Administrative matters?
Pigsy's official enrollment. A fight. A cave. And the most important text of the whole journey. The night after Pigsy agreed to join, Sun Wukong still didn't fully trust him. He decided to test him. He said, "Come with me. Let's go to your cave and collect your things." Pigsy agreed. He had some possessions there, weapons, a bit of food he'd stored.
Sounds reasonable.
When they got to the cave, Sun Wukong started looking through Pigsy's things with great interest. He picked up Pigsy's iron rake and examined it. He opened the storage jars. He looked at the iron rake again.
He was baiting him.
Pigsy said, "Those are my things. This is my home." Sun Wukong said, "Not anymore. You're a disciple of a Tang monk on a holy pilgrimage. You don't need a private cave."
Oh, that would make me furious.
Pigsy said something rude in return. Sun Wukong said something worse. And within about 30 seconds they were fighting.
The rake versus the staff.
All night. From inside the cave to outside the cave, up into the air, back down. Neither one willing to lose. Sun Wukong faster, Pigsy heavier and harder to knock back.
Did Tang Monk know they were fighting all night?
Tang Monk was sitting in prayer in the farmhouse, listening to crashes and bangs from the direction of the hills, and deciding not to think about it.
Very wise.
As dawn came, both of them were tired. They stopped fighting, standing a little apart, breathing hard. Then Pigsy said something unexpected. He said, "I need to tell you the truth about something."
Quietly, he's going to tell him about Guanyin.
He said, "I didn't just randomly end up at that village. Guanyin came to me. A year ago, maybe more. She told me my waiting was almost over. She told me that a monk from Tang, China would come west, and that I should stop eating people and wait for him. She gave me a Dharma name. She told me to be ready."
He'd been waiting for Tang Monk this whole time?
He'd been waiting for the whole group. He just didn't know how it would arrive. He'd been filling his time working for the old farmer's family, a deal they'd struck, more or less, and trying, with limited success, to stop being a monster.
He was trying to be better, alone, with no one watching.
For a year. That's actually harder than the pilgrimage, I think.
Quietly, trying to change when no one can see you.
Sun Wukong listened to this. He lowered his staff. He looked at Pigsy for a long moment. Then he said, "All right. Then you don't need the cave anymore."
He burned it?
He said, "Pilgrims don't have a back door to return to." He lit the cave on fire.
Slowly, that's kind of ruthless? But also kind of right.
Pigsy stood and watched his home burn. He didn't try to stop it. He held his iron rake and watched the smoke rise.
Why the rake, though? He kept the rake. Didn't he burn that too?
Laughing, even Sun Wukong had some limits. The rake is Pigsy's weapon. It was given to him in heaven. You don't burn a heavenly weapon.
And also, Sun Wukong respects a good weapon.
He does. He checks his own staff every morning.
Laughing, of course he does.
The two of them walked back to Tang Monk in the early morning light, slightly battered, smelling of smoke and effort. Pigsy was officially, irreversibly, part of the team.
We're at the Sueo Cold Spring Facility. This was built during the Japanese colonial period. They discovered the spring in 1928 and immediately built bathing facilities.
Gasping in delight, the water is cold. And it's fizzy. I can feel it on my feet. It's like putting your feet in very gentle sparkling water. Little bubbles are clinging to my skin.
The carbon dioxide content of the spring is naturally high, the same gas that makes your soda fizzy. It bubbles up through the limestone rock below the town.
And it's 22 degrees? It feels colder than that.
The body registers 22 degrees as cold when you're hot from the day. The fizzing also enhances the sensation.
This is unlike any water I have ever been in. I feel like I'm part of a very calm bubble tea. Which is funny because there's a pearl milk tea museum nearby.
Qili Bay has a museum dedicated to the history of bubble tea, which was invented in Taiwan in the 1980s. The chewy tapioca pearls, the cold sweet milk tea, it's now drunk all over the world, but it started here.
From Taiwan to everywhere. Like the monks on their pilgrimage, starting from one point and going out to bring something back.
Ready for the Heart Sutra?
Feet still in the cold spring, yes. I'm fizzing and I'm ready.
As the team got back on the road to Tang Monk, Sun Wukong, Pigsy, and the White Horse, they came to a mountain monastery. An old monk called Wuzhou welcomed them in for tea.
Another monk?
A different kind. Wuzhou was a genuine practitioner, not envious like the abbot, not cunning. Just very old and very wise. He had been meditating in that mountain for 500 years.
500 years, same as Sun Wukong was trapped.
An interesting coincidence. Wuzhou looked at Tang Monk and said, "You are heading west to get the scriptures. The road is very long and very dangerous. There will be 81 tribulations before you reach your destination. Do you know how to protect yourself?"
Tang Monk has Sun Wukong. That should be enough, right?
Sun Wukong is protection from outside dangers. But Wuzhou said, there is one danger that no staff can handle. And that is the danger from inside, from the mind. Fear, doubt, impatience, pride. These are what will stop you, not the monsters.
Quietly, oh.
Wuzhou said, I will give you something. He taught Tang Monk the Heart Sutra, 260 characters, the most compressed, most famous text in all of Buddhist teaching. He chanted it once. Then again. Then he said, memorize this. Recite it when your mind is troubled. It will help.
What does the Heart Sutra say?
The core of it is 4 words, form is emptiness. Everything you can see and touch and hold, including your fears, your pride, your certainty that you're right, none of it is as solid as it seems. The world is constantly changing. What terrifies you today will be gone. What you're certain about today may be wrong tomorrow.
That's a very big idea for 260 characters.
It fits in one breath. The monks who memorize it say the whole sutra aloud in about 2 minutes. But understanding it can take a lifetime.
Thoughtfully, Sun Wukong's name means awakened emptiness. His name is basically the Heart Sutra.
He has the name. He has not yet understood the lesson.
That's kind of the whole story, isn't it? He has the answer in his name and he's spending 100 chapters learning to live it.
You've just summarized the entire journey to the West.
We're down at the Sueo fishing harbor. The boats came back this morning.
Excitedly, look at this. We have whole steamed crab, cracked open right here, the meat sweet and fresh. And grilled fish, a whole sea bass that's been scored and grilled with just salt and oil, so the skin is crispy and the flesh inside is delicate. Sueo is a real working fishing port, these boats go deep sea. The fish is serious.
Sueo Port handles significant traffic fishing vessels, industrial ships, the ferry that connects to the Diaoyutai Islands in the east.
Eating crab, crab. Sweet, ocean fresh, barely cooked. The crab trusts its own flavor enough not to need much else.
That's very philosophical for crab.
Laughing, everything is philosophical today. Sun Wukong taught me that.
Laughing, he'd be pleased to hear it.
The fish is incredible too. When the fish is this fresh, you understand why people live by the sea. Crispy skin. Soft, clean flesh. Just salt and fire. That's all.
Tang Monk recited the Heart Sutra every day from that point forward, morning and evening, sometimes in the middle of a crisis. It became his anchor.
Does it actually help him?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There are moments when he's captured by a demon, surrounded by danger, and he just sits and recites the sutra until Sun Wukong comes to rescue him.
That seems like a survival strategy.
A very good one. He can't fight, he can't transform, he can't fly. But he can sit still in the center of chaos and not lose himself. And that turns out to be exactly what's needed, someone who stays calm at the center while everything around is running and fighting.
He's the calm at the eye of the storm.
And the storm is Sun Wukong.
Laughing, and Pigsy is the wind that's not sure which direction to blow.
Accurate. By the end of Chapter 19, the team is Tang Monk, Sun Wukong, Pigsy, and the White Horse. There's one more member still to come. But the Heart Sutra is in Tang Monk's memory. The robe is recovered. Pigsy's cave is ashes. They're heading west again.
What direction do they go from Yilan?
In the story, they head west through the mountains. In Taiwan, we're heading south, which is our west for this journey.
Over the Suhua Highway cliffs?
Around them. The highway is dramatic but not ideal for a podcast bus. We're taking the inland route south.
What's next?
Next time we cross into Hualien, the biggest county in Taiwan by area, home to the Taroko Gorge. White marble cliffs, Emerald River, some of the most dramatic scenery anywhere in Asia. And the story crosses a very different threshold, Yellow Wind Ridge. A monster whose wind is powerful enough to blind the team. Tang Monk is captured.
Already? He just got the Heart Sutra.
The sutra helps with inner demons. Outer ones still require Sun Wukong.
Sighing, he can't win them all by himself either, can he?
Softly, form is emptiness, but the journey is real. On Bao Island, stories grow up with you.